Today, Local Matters family, we are visited by Mr. John Milton. He is a local barber in our community, and he started a video podcast that goes on Facebook Live every Wednesday evening called Barber Shop Talk Live. You all will recall that I mentioned that I was going to go on his show. I made my appearance on his show on December 28th. And if you go to the Facebook page of Barbershop Talk Live, you'll be able to see our discussion. I was there in the barbershop for about an hour. We had a really good discussion about a number of topics related to local government and what it feels like to the seat that I sat in for several years. So we returned the favor and invited Mr. Milton back. How you doing today, John?
Good morning. How you doing, Ms. Jackson? Are you doing all right?
I am great. I am great. Looking forward to an exciting conversation. If you could, for our listeners, just give people an idea of where you come from. I know you said you're from Waycross, how you got to Augusta, why you stayed in Augusta. Just kind of lay that out so people can get who you are.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me on your show. I enjoyed the time that you came on my show. Great conversation. I just enjoyed the time, and I learned a lot from you. So I thank you for coming on. And as you said, I'm from a big little town called Waycross, Georgia. It's a big little town, and I graduated from high school, Waycross High School. I had plans on going to the military. That didn't work out. And so I had a good friend of mine. He came home from Waycross, and he said, come to Augusta. Come to Augusta. We're going to take over Augusta. Augusta is a growing town. As a matter of fact, come to Payne College. At the time, Ms. Jackson, I never heard of Augusta. I never heard of Payne College. I was in the dark. I heard of Atlanta, Macon, Albany, Savannah. Never heard of Augusta. I said, okay. So he said, when we come to Augusta, it's 10 girls to one guy. 10 girls to one guy. I said, okay, let's go check it out. So got up here. And as he said, it was 10 girls to one guy. It was girls everywhere. I was like, all right, cool, And I came up here with a little money in my pocket, and he already had this little thing going on. So we actually became the campus loan sharks. We started letting everybody borrow money and pay me back with interest and all that kind of stuff. And it went on for a little while. And then I got to the point where I was enjoying what I was doing, not knowing I should have been going to school and getting an education.
How long did you stay in school?
It was hard to stay in school. It was hard to even stay in class. I was so much fun going on and stuff like that. And I enjoyed all that. And then one day I got a letter from the academic office saying, Mr. Milton, you are on academic probation. I said, what that mean? So I said, well, you got to sit out for a semester because you ain't up to par on your grades. I said, oh, okay. So now it hit me. I got to get serious. I need to buckle down and get serious. But at that point, it was too late. I needed to sit out, get myself together. And that's what I did. I sat out for a semester, got a little job and stuff like that. Now to back up a little bit, I've always been somewhat of a go-getter. Some people call it a hustler. I always did stuff to make the ends meet and be my own boss type person. And that's kind of where it once I got on academic probation, had to sit out, I just went back to my roots and put the plan in action, how I'm gonna make my own money, be my own boss, and be successful one day.
Okay. Now, how long did you stay in school at Payne?
I did about 2.5 years.
Okay. You gave it a little bit of a shot.
I gave it a shot. I gave it a good try.
And what kind of interest rate were you charging on those loans?
Oh, well, it depends. If you get 100, I get 150 back. But now that comes with collateral. You had to give me some collateral. I had to get some Jordan sneakers. I had to get some bomber jackets. I had to get something, for the money. And they always paid back with interest. Me and Ever had a little campus, loan shark business going on. And it went pretty good for a while, till I got the letter in the mail.
Yeah. Well, actually, you still had contacts. So, you could have continued to make the loans even after you were no longer a student, right?
Well, that's true. And that's what I was doing.
Okay.
Even some of the teachers and some of the administrators, because they was getting paid once a month. And by them getting paid once a month, they needed something to hold over to the end of the month.
You were loaning money to the staff
I
too?
was loaning money to the staff. It was crazy. I was like, but again, they didn't want nobody to know, come out of the room and talk to me or see me in the hallway or whatever. So, and they word got around campus that we was little loan sharks, and that's how it went.
Gosh, guys are forever looking for business opportunities, and that is wonderful to be a hustler. My son went to school at Tuskegee, and a lot of kids didn't have vehicles
Oh yeah.
at Tuskegee, and I told him, I said, well, I would consider it cruel and unusual punishment for me to send you to Tuskegee without a vehicle. And he capitalized on the fact that he had a vehicle because he used to give rides to people for money. He was like,
Yeah.
"Can you
Yeah.
ride to the Atlanta airport?" Sure.
Yeah.
And he would set
Yeah.
his price a little bit lower than what Groom would charge, and he would
Okay.
take you to Atlanta.
Hey, I'm with him. I'm with him. Got to do what you got to do.
So that's great. That entrepreneurial spirit is a wonderful thing, especially for our young African American men. So, how did you decide to become a barber? How did that evolve?
Well, now that was always in my spirit, for years, because growing up back in this big little town called Waycross, Georgia, my mom used to always get up, Sunday mornings and do my sister hair with the hot iron on the stove and all that kind of stuff. And so while they was doing all that, my sister crying because my mama burning her ears and all that stuff going on. And so I was fascinated about how she was doing her hair and making it look good when she finished with it. So then I go to the beauty salon with my mom and my grandmama, and the lady, Miss Bostic, was making all this money because she was the only beautician in that area, was everybody coming to her house. And I was like, man, this lady making a killing. She used to get a brand new Cadillac every year. She was the lady. So I was like, this is something I want to do. So that was always in my spirit to, to do hair, but I really wanted to do the ladies' hair because I knew that's where all the money was at. Because I see all the money my mom and my grandma was paying and all the money the lady was making from the customers. I said, this got to be it. This is it. So I was going, when the military thing didn't work out, I went to Southern Barber College. It was down on 8th Street. So when I went to Southern Barber College, I was just gonna get the barber license and then go get the cosmetology license, because at the time there was no openings in the cosmetology area. So I just went on and got the barber license. I said, when I finish this, I'll go back and get the cosmetology. That didn't ever happen because once I got my barber license, people wanted to get me to cut the hair, and that kind of took another direction. So I just stuck with the barbering, and thank God I did.
Okay. How long have you had your own shop?
Oh man, I had probably, I've been cutting hair about 30 years now. So probably about 20 some years, about 25 years.
Okay. And put in a plug, where's the shop?
Jay's Place Barber Shop, 1927 Olive Road, across from Mount Vernon Baptist Church. Great location. The people love me. I love the people. Great community. I try to give back to the community as much as I can, and they always keep supporting me. I just try to be a good person, a good people person. Again, 1927 Olive Road, Jay's Place Barber Shop.
Okay. All right. Which is where I was sitting when I did the interview with him.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, actually. As we talk, one of the things that I wanted to highlight this year, if there aren't any elections this year, last year, there were elections out the wazoo, so candidates in for a large part of the year. So this year, of course, not as many elections right now. I think the only election I'm aware of in the Augusta area in Richmond County is going to be for the District 6 school board seat, because unfortunately Tyreek Robinson passed away, and there's going to have to be a special election to fill that seat. Right. So because I won't have candidates on this year, I'm going to kind of focus on the everyday man. And when I say everyday man, I want to get a feel for what real people are really talking about as it relates to state and local government in our area. And who best to tell me that than somebody who runs a barbershop?
Yes. It all comes to the barbershop.
So first thing though, before I get into barbershop talk, which I'll talk about in the barbershop, I want to give you, do you even consider yourself to be the average man? Are you the average citizen or not?
I think I am. I think I'm the average Joe Blow, because I don't think I do anything special. I don't think I got any special powers, anything better than anybody else. I'm the type, I just take a chance. I take the chance. If there's a 1% chance that I can do it, I'm gonna take that chance, because all it takes for somebody to say I can't do it, and I'm gonna prove them and prove to myself I can do it. So I'm not nothing special that I do, nothing elaborate I do. I'm just being me, and that's pretty much who I am.
So being you, you're in your barbershop, what, 5 days a week, 6 days a week?
Yes, 5 days a week.
5 days a week. What are some of the things that the customers coming in talk about in the barbershop?
Oh man, we really ain't got enough time on that particular question, but it's so funny you asked that question, because again, me being me and who I am, I got a call this morning, Miss. I got a call this morning, and sometimes, you know how you get the phone calls and you don't recognize the number, so you don't ask, let it go to voicemail. So this number looked familiar, so I answered the call, and the guy said, "What's up, man? You all right?" I said, "I'm good, man." And now I'm still talking because I don't recognize the voice. I mean, I don't recognize the number, but I kind of recognize the voice. And I said, "Hey, man, you all right?" He said, "Man, you free later today?" Now the shop closed on Mondays. So I said, "Nah, just give me a call. I got some running around to do." I said, "I got something very important to do this morning." So he said, "Can I call you later today? I need something to talk with you about." So I talked to him, you know. He said, "Well, I'll give you a heads up. Let me give you a heads up. Do you know anybody that's a loan shark?" Now my mind went back to my paying college days. I said, "No, what you need?" He said, "I need to borrow about $1,800. I said, $1,800. I said, "Well, what?" I'm thinking in my mind, why did you call me for $1,800? You know, so going back to your original question, everybody some kind of way come to me for advice, for some encouragement, even for money. Money. I'm like, man, I ain't got no money. I'm trying to make sure you pay me what you owe me for the haircut. So what do you think I got extra money? So it's getting crazy. So there's so much going on I call it Jay's Place. I don't call it a barbershop. I call it Jay's Place, because Jay's Place is different from any other barbershop. You can go to, you know, every barbershop is almost on every corner, but there ain't but one Jay's Place barbershop. So when somebody be in the shop, they say, "Man, I'm at the barbershop." No, you at Jay's Place. It's a difference.
Okay, got it. I got it. So if y'all sit around, or you're working, they're sitting around, somebody's in the chair, somebody's waiting in the, you know, to get into the chair. And does the city of Augusta ever come up, local government, state government, do those topics ever come up when y'all are in the shop? Or
they come up almost every day, and every customer gonna come in with the local news that's on their mind. They want to discuss it, want to talk about it. And this is let me tell you how I get crazy in the barbershop. You get crazy to the point where the local government subject comes up with the mayor. When I say the mayor, I mean the previous mayor. What he doing in the church? What he doing with his kids? What he doing with the wife? All this, you know, scandalous stuff going on. So they really want to hear my side. They already got their opinion set, what they think. They want to hear my side to co-side with them or change their mind or whatever. So when you talk about the local government, who's stealing money, why this person got a job, they don't even need a job, they ain't qualified, they only got the job because who their daddy is, who their mama is. And so sometimes the conversation goes so far, but like, man, I don't trust none of them. None of them should be enough. They need to get rid of the whole commission, get rid of the whole, even the mayor. All of them need to go and get somewhere else, because they're killing the city. They're killing the city. So now I got to sit there and give my opinion on it. And some of it I agree with. Start a whole new bunch of people down there.
Okay. And when they say they're killing the city, I mean, do they voice like expectations about what they think they should be getting from the city?
Yeah. Yes, and actually, my opinion is, I think they should have did something with the Regis Mall 20 plus years ago, because that is an eyesore. It looks like, I mean, my suggestion one time was make it a casino, make some type of restaurant out of it, you know, different stores in there. So even though, you know, years ago when they had this big argument about ain't nothing getting done in the city because we don't have a balance. There's no balance in the commissions. It's more whites than blacks. There's all this stuff going on. So I say, well, maybe if they get more blacks down there, then we might be able to see something, because the black folks can really see what's happening or what's not happening in the community or in the city. So because they got firsthand knowledge of the part that they're not getting or the equalness that they're not getting. So maybe if we can balance this thing out, blacks or whites, all that kind of stuff. And it happened. It happened, Miss Jackson. It happened to the point where now we had a black city commissioner, we got a black mayor, we got a black fire chief, we got a black this, we got a black that, in the key positions, black sheriff, all of this stuff is in the position where we can see that now these people are in the position to the point where now they can get some stuff done. They can make some stuff happen. They can take the actions necessary to put this city in a different direction and in the right direction, because it's called the second largest city in the state of Georgia. But when that happened, nothing happened. When they got in the key positions that we tried to get them in, the city didn't move at all. The city didn't advance at all. As and some of my customers' opinion, it took a step back. It took a step back to the point that now what the people are saying, why should I vote? Why should I vote? Because I voted for this person. I voted for that person. I voted for that person to get in a position to make a change. And when they got in the position, nothing happened. So I ain't voting no more. So now it comes back to me as I'm the one of the so-called community leaders. Well, John, what you think? I'm almost thinking the same thing. Why should I vote? If you look at the big picture, ain't nothing really happening, but I can't tell them not to vote. I got to tell them, I got to encourage them, keep on voting, because one day this thing gonna change. But out of 20 plus years or longer, ain't nothing happening. That's crazy.
I'm so glad that you touched on that, and I appreciate your honesty with that, because that's one of the reasons that I created Local Matters, was because people have lost interest in voting, as you say. I mean, last election, I think 48% of the vote, maybe, during the runoff, when Warnock and Herschel
Yes.
Walker. And we also had the school board runoff for District 2 on the ballot at that time. And there was maybe a 48% turnout. I think the election prior to that, the November election, it might have been a little bit higher than that, maybe 52%.
Something like that. Yeah.
It sounds like folks have gotten so discouraged from the lack of progress that they just don't care anymore. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement. And I think the main thing that people want to see is keep your word, do what you say you're going to do, and let us see something. I just want to see it. If I can see it, then I can believe it. But if your campaign slogan, one community, one people, whatever you call it is, and if you never live up to what you say you're going to do, now the whole mindset, the whole everything is, I can't trust none of the politicians. I can't even trust nothing they say, because again, why are the attendance dropping on people going to vote? You get up there and say, we're going to do this for the school board, we're going to do this for the commission, we're going to do this for the city, and none of this stuff is happening. Now my confidence level is dropping because I can't believe nothing you say. I can't trust nothing you say. And now I get to the point I can't trust nobody that runs, nobody that gets in any position to run, because why is it consistently dropping? Because some people say, well, I can't go vote because it rained. I can't go vote because I ain't got a ride. That shouldn't be an excuse, because it rained when you go to the grocery store. It rained when you go to church, but you can't go to vote because it's raining or whatever. So sometimes we got to be honest with ourselves, be honest with the community, and be honest with the people that we actually are supporting or you want to support you. And it never happens. Now my confidence level is gone. It's gone. Can I say this?
Go right ahead.
I was approached many, many times from years back to even now to run for commissioner, Ms. Jackson, and that much I thought about it, that much, and also this much I said I'm not going to do it, because I want everybody to see the real John Milton. The real John Milton is the one that you see in the barber shop, having fun, talking noise, just talking sports, talking politics, doing all that. I want you to see that side of John Milton. But if I get down there and get into the commission chambers, get into the school board, whatever leadership role I get into, and I start seeing in my mind the underhanded stuff that goes on, the backdoor deals that goes on, the slick stuff that goes on, the clicks that they have. I can't do this because you don't do this for me. I'm not going to vote for your stuff. You don't vote for my stuff and all this stuff. Now you will see the John Mitchell that you don't want to see, because I'm going to start calling you out. I'm going to start putting you on the carpet. I'm going to put your feet to the fire, and I'm going to tell the folks what you're really about. And see what happened with me. If I decide to run, I'll put it all out there before you put it out there. I would tell you, look, I got some speeding tickets. I got some unpaid parking tickets. I'm behind on my property tax. I don't been to jail. I don't did all of that. So I don't put it out there. So you can't put up no dirt on me. My first grade teacher, she dead, and all that stuff going on. Say, what else can you tell me? So I'd rather come at you straight up, tell you what's going on, with all that old those stuff they have going on down in the commissioner or any type of leadership role. I'd rather not give you, I don't want to put myself in that position because now I ain't got, first of all, my skin ain't tough enough for that. Because as soon as something jump off, we still talking, right?
Yeah, we're still talking.
Can I put you in the hot seat?
Go right ahead.
I'm gonna put you back in the hot seat because when you was in the position, you was in the city administration position, Ms. Jackson. I was watching the different, when they happen on TV and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, I know she got some good ideas. I know she's trying to do this. She's trying to put the city in different positions. She's trying to make sure the budget is right. This is right. So I can imagine that a lot of ideas that you had, that you wanted to see done for the city, that you wanted to see the city move forward, and here come one or two that might not even like what you driving, might not even like what you put on today, might not even like who your friends is, and they ain't gonna, now they got their cliques going together, but don't do what she like, don't go this way, don't vote that way. So all that going on, so the stuff that you trying to do for the city of Augusta, the CSRA to put this in a different position, it ain't gonna never happen. So now they get on TV talking about the administrator, and that administrator, it ain't got nothing to do with you trying to put it right, you trying to make it right. And here they come with this old slick stuff. So now we get back in Jay's place Barber Shop with that conversation with, man, they make her look like she don't know what she's doing. She's trying, you trying, we all trying, but when you got these cliques that ain't gonna try to do nothing, it make it hard for everybody. So my sanity would be in the barber shop having fun to let y'all see the John Milton like that, not the real John Milton that hardly ever people see. That make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense. So what you're is that even though people might not be voting like we think they should, people still paying attention.
Right. They pay a lot of attention. They pay a lot of attention.
And what they have learned in paying attention is one of the reasons they might not be going to the polls.
Going to the polls. I mean, you can look at a few years ago with Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams. That was on a bigger scale, not a local scale, but a big scale, to the point where he pretty much was in a position to stop everything, closing down some of the voting polls and doing that kind of stuff. So I was assuming if you in one position, you can't run for another position. You have to relinquish one position to run for another position. He didn't do that. So it put her at a disadvantage because now it's not a fair fight. It's not a fair, voting poll. So for the older folks that see that, for the older folks that can't get to the place to vote because he decided to close down these polls in these certain areas, now they thinking, well, baby, I ain't going down there wasting my time voting for these folks no more. Folks gonna do what they want to do. So now, if grandma ain't going to vote, the grandkids ain't going to vote, those kids ain't going to vote because the way grandma got treated. So now that whole mentality has been trickled down to the point where now the person that's over all this voting stuff or all this, they got what they want. Now they got an easy vote in, So it's kind of crazy. So I was the one years ago, I wouldn't vote at all. You can pay me, I still wouldn't go vote because my grandmama told me, them folks gonna do what they want to do and you wasting your time.
Okay. So when did you start voting?
Probably, I guess about 15, 20 years ago.
Okay. So you were well into your adulthood before you.
Right. And you know what's so funny? I was a make up excuses because, so like, in other words, after the Tuesday vote was over, and I come to Jay's place and they say, man, who you voted for? I said, man, I got so busy in the shop, I ain't get a chance to go down there. Man, I'm talking about there was people coming in, I couldn't make it. So, man, I didn't get a chance to vote. So that was my excuse for years why I didn't go vote. And I had many chances to vote because early voting or the day before or whatever, I had many chances to vote. But my mind always go back to, here they come with that slick stuff again. Here they come with this old stuff. If I go down there and vote, I already know what they're going to do. They're going to switch it around. They're going to lose the votes. They're going to, not count this, not count that. So I ain't going to vote. So like I say, for years, I didn't even go.
You talked about the lack of trust. And I recall when I moved back to Augusta in 2014, of course, I was out, just talking to the community, people in the community, so they could get more familiar with me and I could get more familiar with their concerns. And one of the things I heard over and over and over again that you just hit on is people just don't trust the government. They just don't trust the commissioners, even though they elected these folks. They'll tell you, just like what you said about the notion of backroom dealings and basically doing things that are not in the best interest of the public that they've been elected to serve. So, why, a little bit more on why that is, and what is it going to take to get some people who would be interested in what happens for the community, not just for themselves. What is it going to take to get some of those people to run for office?
Well, let me start off with the first you're saying about the trust. I think that's a big word when you say trust, and it can go different ways, religion, politics, just an everyday, just conversation. So when you say trusting people, believing in people, I think that goes back to way back, like I say, to my grandmama, my great grandmama, folks I never met, because when you kept your word, and a lot of times your word is your action. You kept your word, you put into action with the word, and so people now believe you. They can trust you. So bringing forward to what I'm doing, every week, sometimes twice a week, I give out food at the Jay's place, and it is to the point where I have cases and boxes of eggs, meats, whatever, apples, fruits, I just give it out, and it's to whoever want to get it. It's free, there's no charge. So the people already know that if I don't do nothing else, they can trust what I say I'm gonna do. So if I say I'm gonna give you some money, if I say I'm gonna give you a free haircut, if I say I'm gonna do come to the event, whatever, when I put my name out there, put my word out there, put my statement out there, they can trust it. So when you're talking about people getting in political office or any type of leadership role, what have you shown me? Have you showed me something through the past year, through the past months? And also, I got a thing that I always say, the mirror don't lie. The mirror don't lie. Matter of fact, don't lie to me. Look in the mirror. You can look in the mirror and tell who you are, what you think you are, who you should be. And if you look at the mirror won't lie to you. The mirror can tell you if you got this thing looking right or if you got it out of place. So I look at it to the point where you tell me something, I'm going to go with that. But if you're always telling me something, you ain't keep your word, I can't trust you. So the problem is we got some people that can talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. So when you go down there and a person, you vote that person in, sometimes you vote the person in on the point where they just popular. They've been around for a long time. They know such and such. They know this. They got property. They got a business. They got all this stuff going on, but they really ain't doing nothing to show you that they're gonna keep their word and do something for the community, do something for the kids, do something for the everyday people. So I look at if you're gonna trust, you better show me some action with the trust. The action speak like the words.
What have you done for me lately?
What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me? That's the word. Because again, I don't want to hear no more lip service. I don't want to hear all these old fancy big words. Let me see it. Let me see it. And Ms. Jackson, do you know how many times I've been in Augusta 30 years? I've been here 30 plus years. Do you know how many times I have heard the Hyde Park conversation? They're gonna fix up Hyde Park, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. And it happens to the point where all of the person that was in those political positions, all of the commissioners, all of them that don't came through, stayed there, or still there now, had the same thing. So when I run for office, the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take care of Hyde Park. I'm gonna make it my agenda to take care of Hyde Park. I'm gonna do something for the people over there and all that stuff. And out of all the ones that got shipped around, got moved around, got in different positions, Hyde Park was still in the same position. And I'm like, wait a minute, ain't nobody keeping up their word? Ain't nobody living up to what they say they're gonna do? So that goes back to the initial thing we said, why are you not being truthful to us? Is it you just saying it just to get my vote to the point where the backdoor deal coming through? I can tell the people something. So I just need to see some action. Give me some action with that lip service. You can't give me an actual lip service, sit down and shut up. That's how I look at it.
Okay. So you don't think you ever run for office? I think you ever change your mind?
Well, I think if I would run, I just got to wake up and feel it, because right now I don't feel it, because right now it's too much. I still say the backdoor deal is going on. Because if you look at why are certain people in this city, Thompson community, Thompson Wrecking, they're always the ones that's tearing down the buildings. They always doing the militia. I'm like, ain't no other company, ain't no other business in Augusta, or ain't no other business that can do this. So I'm looking at these backdoor deals going on to the point where, why is this business always flourishing? Why is this company always there? So it looks like if I was going to get in position to really help the people, or the city is supposed to be helping the community, it ain't happening. I can go down the road right now and I see Thompson Wrecking Service, 4 or 5 different jobs. And I got one guy that's still applying for a loan and he can't get his foot in the door because somebody say the paperwork ain't right, or he don't have enough collateral or whatever. But how can I get it if you don't give me the opportunity to get it? How can I get to the point where I can get these contracts, get these loans, get these positions, and get this stuff where you're not giving me opportunity? So that goes, to me, in my mind, goes back to the cliques that's been involved for years to now. I can't get my foot in the door because I got a long way to go to get in that circle. And it make the city look bad, make the outside persons that come to the city, look at us bad, because now there's nothing happening. And we always talk about the school system. We always talk about the sheriff department, the fire department, all this stuff going on. So I'm still going back to who's doing what they say they're going to do. Who's making the stuff happen, what they say is going to stuff, what's supposed to happen. And I mean, if it ain't nothing happening, but you promised to do it, did you get clicked up with the wrong person just to get yourself in the seat? I don't know.
One of the things that you kind of segueing straight into it, the composition, the racial composition of the elected positions has shifted a lot in the past 30 years, since you've been in, because you came to the city prior to consolidation. So things have shifted. Do you think you've seen any positive changes as a result of having more African Americans in various positions of leadership?
I would say it depends on what's going on, to the point where, in other words, every time of the year, certain time of the year, everybody can get along. So next month is Black History Month. We all gonna get along. We all gonna come to you by the church. We all gonna go to these programs. We all gonna do this because it's Black History Month. We all gonna get together for the Martin Luther King parade. We all gonna get together for all these major things at that particular time. We all gonna get together for Breast Cancer Month. We all gonna get together for this. So what happens when those events not going on? What happens when these different situations not happening? Black History Month ain't for 28 days. What's happened to the next month? Ain't nothing going on. So it's to the point where when you see the Black commissioners in those positions, are they really pushing for the agenda? Are they really pushing? And again, they might just be pushing. But again, what I need to see it. Because if you don't see it, what you say you're gonna do, you just talking. So now you're just talking just to keep me quiet until something almost you ain't got no choice but to make it happen. So when I say the Black commissioners, are they really making a difference? I don't see it. I mean, I didn't see it when it was majority white either. But then maybe on their side of town, the stuff was happening. Maybe in their district, the stuff was happening. But for the parts that where the Hyde Park area, where the stuff that we know is going on, and the ones and those Black commissioners that are in positions, they know what was going on when they was growing up. They know East Boundary was bad when they was growing up. So now that they get in the position, you ought to have some type of urgency to make a change. Now you're in the position to make a change, and I know you can't do it by yourself. I definitely know that, but you ought to at least show us, or every now and then, let me see something. So now, if I don't see nothing, and you grew up in that world, you grew up in that community, you grew up in that whole stuff that was happening, or should have been happening. Now you're in a position to make it happen or make a change, and you ain't not doing it. So you almost part of the problem. That's just how I look at it. Talk the talk, but you ain't walking the walk.
Okay. Of all the things you've seen over this 30 years you've been in the area, are there any things that you think the government has done well? Because I'm one of the people using balanced commentary, because having been around elected officials for the last 30 years of my life, what I hear all the time is that, there's so-and-so, he or she's complaining again. Are they ever happy with anything? And to be honest, people get tuned out if it's always, negative, never got anything positive to say. So are there positive things that you hear in the barbershop about things that may be happening in the government?
I would say majority, not too much positive things, because again, it goes back to they don't see it. They don't see it. So if you look at I can't think of the guy name that's dealing with this with the past commissioner that was dealing with the soap over there at Jamestown Community Center. Silas, yeah. So for years, they wondered about the community center. They ain't this, it ain't that. So now they found out the money ain't right. The money been missing and all this kind of stuff and extramarital affairs and all that kind of stuff. But they trusted this guy to get in the position and take care of the area, take care of the community center, take care of all of this stuff. So all of a sudden, ain't nothing happening. Now the whole world knows his extramarital affairs, all this stuff with the money being messed up and all that. So then it goes back. It goes right back to the point where I can't trust nobody no more.
So it confirmed every suspicion that they had.
Every suspicion. I knew he was lying. I knew he wasn't no good. I knew. So now it's to the point where now he's trying to save his life and save his whatever he got going on, because he can direct it to somebody else. But we see the evidence that you just lied to us for all these years. Now I can't trust nobody. So if you tell me the next person in his seat gonna do something better or more for this community, let me see it. Can I just see it? Can I see something? And look, when I go to church, Ms. Jackson, I pay my tithes. I put my money in the tray. I write the checks. I write the money orders. I do all that. So I should not keep coming to this same church and the carpet is tearing up. The doors come off the hinges. The lights ain't on. The heat ain't on. The air ain't working. Where's my money going? What you doing with my money? So I'm paying my taxes. I'm paying property tax. I'm paying water bill. I'm paying all that. And I still got the drains backing up. Still got the streets ain't being paved. All this stuff going. Where's my money going? But every time the commissioners get in this meeting, now we're gonna raise taxes. We're gonna raise property tax. I don't mind you raising it, but let me see what you're doing with my money that I'm already paying. If I'm already paying it, let me see something to the point where I can feel okay with you raising it, because I can see what you're gonna give me. But if you're giving me nothing, I'm giving you something, man, I don't even want to be bothered with it. But then if I don't pay my property tax, you take my property.
Oh, yeah, you in big trouble if you don't.
You take my property, but you ain't doing nothing for the area where my property's at. At one time you used to see the prisoners come around and cut the grass and do this and do that. I don't even see them guys no more. But my property, my taxes is taking care of all that. I don't see them guys no more. So it's just everything is changing. Everything is to the point where, why should I care? Why should it matter? And I know the big picture, you should care and it should matter. But I keep saying the same thing. Let me see it. Let me see it. I just want to see it, because if you tell your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend that you love them, they want to see that you love them. Don't just say it. Give me some action. Show me you love them. Take me out to dinner. Take me to the movies. Buy me a ring. Buy me a watch. Let me see your love. Because love is action. Love is action. I need to see the action. Don't tell me you're going to take care of this community without showing me some action. Don't tell me you're going to take care of the city without showing me some action. And I don't need that pretty action, because why does Washington Road look a whole lot different than East Boundary? I don't understand that everybody can say that them people got. I don't want to hear all that. I need to see the city. That's where I'm at. I need to see that. That's where I'm at. And again, for me going to potentially run for office, God ain't gave me that yet. I haven't woke up with that, because people keep saying I'll vote for you, I'll run with you, I'll campaign for you. God didn't tell me to do that until I get the okay from the Almighty God. Y'all just talking. Yeah, I ain't gonna even entertain none of that stuff, because again, my skin is not tough enough for that.
Okay, and I completely support that. You have to feel that it is something that God gave you to do in order to go out there, because you got to raise money, you got to go campaigning. A lot of times, honest politicians actually see a decrease in their revenue for their businesses when they're running for office and when they're serving in office, because they have to devote so much time to that they're not devoting time to their business. So that's definitely something to think about. Aside from you, I mean, are there people who come through Jay's Place who want to run? Do you ever see any of those people who are coming through and they're following what's going on, obviously? Do you think that there's gonna ever be a shift in having some younger people run for office, for instance? One of the things that I noticed when I first came in, I looked around, I was like, gosh, all these people retirement age. Who are on the commission. Now you got a couple younger people on there. But still, do you ever feel that their energy is going to be there for some of our younger, more progressive, honest people who want to get some things done? Do you ever see that those people are ever going to jump out there and put themselves up for office?
I think there will come a time with that, because like I said, is that the ages are getting, younger. The guys that are coming in, Jordan Johnson, I mean, even Garnett Johnson, so the ages are lower age, and the folks that's been there for years and years, they moving on. We just have to get that whole mindset of all the ones that's older, to give the young folks a chance to, and also teach them, teach what's going on, and not come in with this, you won't be this way without me, you won't have this without me type mentality. Help them out, educate them to a point where we can understand the deals that need to be done for the city, the plans that need to be done for the city, stuff like that. So I can see a change in the age level, because some of them, I mean, I've seen some of them just sitting up there going to sleep, doing meetings, so to the point where if you can put the right person in place, the right attitude in place, and have that mentality going across the whole commission board, the whole school board, the whole leadership role of any type of entity, it'll change. It'll change. And maybe God gives it to me, I'll follow suit. But at now, I haven't got the word from on high. But I do see the city, going to a different direction as far as the age group of the guys. And I also would say this: we definitely need some term limits. We need some term
well, of course,
limits.
The commission has term limits now.
Yeah.
School board's not. School board's not. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying for the school board. Yeah, because as you know, there was some guys on there for many years that I'm trying not to call no name.
yeah.
For many years, So, but I do see the city as a whole getting younger, getting more energetic. Guys, women involved. Actually, I went to a prayer breakfast this past weekend. Pulliam, the Stacey Pulliam, she had a prayer breakfast and invited all the people to come out to see her views, what she's trying to do for the district. She asked me to come out. I definitely was glad she invited me to come out. Different things she's trying to put together. And again, she's new to the city, well, not the city, but new to that area, and try to understand what it takes to get the community. I mean, the community in a different direction. So I feel her spirit, I feel her attitude, I feel her commitment. And until something's different, I see she's gonna make some good changes and make some things happen. And just got to get everybody on that same mentality wavelength to the point where we can all buy in to see the big picture and make the things happen for the community.
Okay. All right, and that's District 2. That's
Yes.
where Jay's place is located.
That's where Jay's place is located at. Yeah.
Now, do you live in District 2, or you live in?
I do not. I'm off of I live off Bel Air Road, and I guess I hate to say it. I don't know the number of districts, but I'm on Bel Air Road, open up Jimmy Dice Parkway.
You're probably in District 3, although they made some changes in that area.
Right.
So you're either in 3 or 5.
Okay.
Depending. So okay, all right. The reason I asked the question, obviously, government doesn't change until leadership changes, and you got to have some good people in place. We talked about diversity with age, getting some younger people in. The other thing that I have seen a positive change with, I think it's positive, is that at least now we have some women on the commission. There are 3 women there.
Yep,
which is the most there's ever been in the history of the Augusta Commission. It has been a very male-dominated institution because when I got there were 0 women on the commission. I think there's one other time in history when there had been 2 women in place at the same time. I think Betty Beard and Barbara Sims were at the same time. Right. Then we have Catherine McKnight and Francine, now Stacey Pulliam. But it's like that doesn't reflect. Oh, excuse me. There was one more moment I came in. It was Mira Davis. I forgot how to mention her. Mira Davis was representing District 3. And I was like, why is it that the richest district in the city, District 3, is the only one that can send a woman to the commission, Right. It's Barbara Sims and then Mary. And now, of course, it's diversified a little bit. District 9 has a a super district. First time a woman has ever represented a super district. That's Francine Scott. And now you've got a woman in District 2. So between age, between gender, the other thing, just in terms of perspective, I mean, I think it will benefit us to have more diversity on the commission, but I think the greatest benefit is going to be having people who are just dedicated public servants. Who
you're
really
right.
have a heart for the people.
Right.
Like you giving out eggs. I need to come over there, man. They're expensive right about now.
Yeah. And you know, to kind of go back to what you said earlier, I know Brittany, I think her name was Brittany Broadwater. She was running for I can't remember what position. For the school board. And I think she had a really good chance of winning. I think she was, the right person for that position. A woman. She actually came on the show Barber Shop Talk Live one time, and I enjoyed her conversation. I enjoyed her energy, and I felt that she was going to make a big difference, on the school board to highlight the lack of commitment to these kids, to the community, to the school system. So I think she was in the right position at the right time to get in that position to make a change. But the problem I think she had was running up against the person that she was running against, and he was so overwhelming. Popular-wise, click-wise, been around so long. So it took a whole lot of, whatever to change the people mentality of voting for her. So now if she didn't get in that position or whoever didn't change it, nothing happens, nothing changed to the point where now she's running against a guy that's so popular in that area, in that district, and him being white and she being black, it was almost impossible. But again, I think she would have still been the right person, being a woman, that can see the change that need to be done, can see the places that need to be happening. And again, it goes back to my opinion, the cliquish of the people in that community sticking together no matter what. They don't want no change, and she would not be the change that they're looking for to have in that community. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually concluded that she could have won in any district except the one she ran in.
Right, would have no problem with it.
The demographics just did not work. The demographics just did not work for her in that district.
Right.
You mentioned loved ones showing that they love each other. And that reminds me of Valentine's Day. I think you've got an activity that you've been involved with for a number of years that's coming up in the month of February. Go ahead. Tell us about it.
Yes. Well, actually, I think we got some in March. I think it's the March the 4th.
Oh, it's March. Okay, it's not February, it's March. I got it wrong.
Yeah, okay. March. It's called the Red Ribbon Gala. And for the ones that don't know, I have a nonprofit organization called Angelic Community Resource, and that nonprofit organization primarily focuses on HIV testing, HIV awareness, and education. And we partnered up with a lot of different organizations in the area to put on these different events, the health fairs, the galas, all type of things we do. So the gala is a fundraiser that we put together so many years. Again, this coming year, March, to raise funds, to raise money, to continue our efforts in educating the community, getting the community tested, to know the HIV status, to know the AIDS status. We pass out condoms, we get regular education pamphlets, doctor visits, stuff like that. So we try to make sure we are visible. We are doing what we say we're going to do for the community and in the community. So this year we're doing something a little different because I had a good friend of mine, Ken Bonds, who was my business partner, my brother, I'm talking about from day one. We was doing these different events for many, many years. And he passed a few months ago, about 6-7 months ago. So what we're doing this year, we're going to do a Ken Bond Scholarship Fund. And the money we're raising from the gala, from all the other different events, we're going to designate some funds in honor of him for the kids that's graduating high school to go into their educational, levels higher. So we're going to have money set aside for those kids. If they're going into the medical field, you can apply for the scholarship. We're looking to do 2, maybe 3 $500 scholarships for those kids. So we encourage everybody to come out to the gala this year, March the 4th. It's going to be at North Augusta Community Center. The tickets, you can go online, Eventbrite, or you can go to Angelic Community Resource Facebook page, website also. Purchase the tickets. They're $75, 2 for $140. We got Trey Sounds. The group Trey Sound will be performing. Renee Jackson, Creative Moments, will be doing the catering and doing the food. Yours truly will be hosting it. It's going to be a great semi-formal event. Many, many years been doing this event. The money will be used, and you will see where the money is going. You'll see the money being put back into the community for the health fairs, for the for the different drives and stuff like that. And also now we're doing the scholarships. So you'll be able to see where your funds are going. You'll see where your money is being spent at. So keep encouraging. I'm encouraging you now, keep supporting Angelic Community Resource on a small scale or on a big scale, but you will see how we are trying to make a difference in the community, in the HIV community. Just make a difference. And that's all we try to do.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining the Local Matters family. You're now officially a part of the family. Appreciate all of your insight from the mind of an everyday citizen. So, in fact, I'm going to tell you this. If there's anybody else that's in Jay's place that I need to have on the show, I want to hear from them too, because I really do want to use this as a tool to hear from people.
I got you. And I appreciate you letting me come on, and I hope I said something, did something, somebody would hear to encourage them, keep them motivated, keep them inspired. So, I mean, we all need each other. We all need each other. We ain't no good by ourselves. We got to do it with each other to make a difference and make a change come, you know. One day, if the Lord willing, I'll run for office.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate it.